Hi, everyone, and welcome to our college workshop series where we are going to review all of the important information for college applications. So today we're going to talk about building your college list, all the different application components, the different processes and deadlines for each of the systems you may be applying to, and the process for letters of recommendation, and a little bit about writing either personal insight questions or essays depending on where you are planning to go. So just a quick review really of those A through G, which is this middle purple column you see here. These are those minimum requirements that you need with a grade of C- or better to be eligible to apply to those four-year universities, the UC system, the Cal State, and then those out-of-state and in-state private schools. Most of them mirror what you need for high school graduation, with the biggest difference, again, being that C or better. You will need 2 years of the same world language to be A through G eligible, which is a little bit different from high school. And then everything else is pretty much the same. Again, if you have questions about A through G, please reach out to your counselor. So, how do we build a college list? Building a college list is going to be unique to every student. We encourage all of our students here to apply broadly, meaning you should be looking at schools that we call reach schools, target schools, and safety schools. Those reach schools are schools that may be a little bit outside your current cumulative GPA, but a school you've always wanted to attend. So by all means, we encourage you to apply. Let's say your high school GPA right now is a 3.85, and you are wanting to apply to UCLA because you've always dreamed of going there. Generally, their data tells us that they take freshmen with about a 4.1 GPA, but that doesn't mean you are not eligible and could be admitted. It just means that it might be a little bit of a reach. Target schools are just as they sound. You meet the incoming freshman data profile, your GPA matches, they have the major or the different things you're looking for in a college, and so it's a good fit. Safety schools are those schools that you exceed their general admissions requirements. So again, let's say you have a 3.87 GPA and you are going to apply to Cal State San Marcos, and their normal GPA for freshmen is like a 3.34. That'd be a safety school, right? You exceed the normal GPA that they are looking for freshmen, so that would be on your list as a safety school. It's important to apply broadly again so that when you are getting admissions decisions back, you are giving yourself options to decide what is the best fit for you and your family. We also encourage students to do a lot of research. California Colleges is a great platform for students and families to research what it is they're looking for in colleges, and making sure they are finding what is the best fit for them and their needs and wants for their college education. So some things to consider when you are building your college list. The first one is going to be location. I think that's huge when you're deciding on where you want to go to college. Do you want to stay close to home? Are you wanting to drive home on weekends or live at home and commute to school? Are you wanting to leave California? We always tell students, like, if you don't want to live in the snow, don't apply to the East Coast, right? If you don't want to live in the rain, don't apply to the University of Washington. Those are things to consider, especially most of us have grown up in California our whole lives. If leaving California and a drastic weather change is something you're not interested in, that is something to consider when choosing colleges. Same thing with size. There are schools out there with 50,000 plus students on a campus. There are schools out there with less than 5,000 students on a campus. It really depends on what it is and the type of environment that you are looking for. If you want that small school feel, and you get into your major classes, those third and fourth years of college, and you're wanting class sizes below 20, you should really be looking at those smaller schools. If you're wanting big lecture halls and a bigger campus environment, then you're looking at those bigger UC Cal State schools where there's a lot more students sitting in classrooms and lecture halls. When we talk about types, we talk about the difference between public and private schools. We talk about the difference between schools that have a religious affiliation, a military affiliation. Some schools still today are all women or all men, so it's all dependent on what you are looking for. In terms of activities, do you want a school or a college that has a strong Greek life? Are you wanting to join a fraternity or sorority? Do you want intramural sports on campus? All of those things are important. Are there certain clubs or organizations that you want to get involved in? If so, you want to make sure that the schools you're applying to have those things that pique your interest. And last, but sometimes the most obvious, is that you want to make sure they have the major or majors that you are wanting to earn your degree in. Do not apply to a school if you are very specific on what you want to do and they do not offer that major. Again, California Community Colleges helps you filter all of these things and a great resource to help build your college list. So let's spend a few minutes talking about the difference between eligibility versus admissibility. If you have met all of those A through G requirements that we talked about on that second slide, you are eligible to apply to four-year colleges. The difference between eligibility and admissibility, if we look at this example here, is the University of San Diego's last year's freshman class. This is their data. So they had about just shy of 137,000 students apply. They admitted just shy of 39,000 for roughly a 28% admit rate. So while not great, not terrible, but if you look down here where it says GPA of middle 25 to 75% of students, the majority of those first-time freshmen had between a 4.11 and a 4.28 GPA. So again, if your GPA right now in high school is a 3.95, UC San Diego I would consider as a reach school. You are just shy of that high school GPA that the majority of their students fall in. If you love UC San Diego and you want to apply, by all means apply. Just know it would be a reach school instead of a target school. So let's spend a few minutes talking about college applications and deadlines. So this slide here holds a lot of really important information. This slide is going to talk about all the different college applications and the steps that students need to complete in order to have their applications processed. So we start over here and we talk about college applications. These first three application systems, the community college application, the Cal State University application, and the UC application, we encourage all students to launch these applications through California colleges. By launching through California colleges, it allows us as school counselors to help students navigate and troubleshoot any issues that may arise. It also does a really cool thing in that when you're filling out all of your grades from every semester of high school, California Colleges automatically inputs all of that information for you, so it prevents any sort of human error. If you are applying to out-of-state or private schools, most of those schools, and I say most, use the Common Application. This is a separate application portal that you launch separately on your own, and we will be holding a workshop at lunch to go over this application portal and how you log in and how you complete all of those steps. So, what are those steps? Right? First step, filling out the application. All of your information correctly inputted into whatever application system you are applying to. Again, if you're using California colleges, they will manually input all of your grades and your transcripts. If for whatever reason you choose not to use California colleges, you will need to manually input every course by semester that you took in high school. If you took the ACT or the SAT and you are wanting to use it for placement purposes at the Cal States or the UCs, hold on to those test scores. Once you are admitted to whatever campus or campuses that admit you, you can then send your test scores through College Board to that campus for placement purposes for both math and writing. If you're applying to private schools or out-of-state schools and they still take SAT or ACT scores, by all means, and you want to submit those test scores through College Board to each of those campuses that you are applying to. The next step is going to be essay and insight questions, and we'll touch on that in just a little bit. The biggest step after applying to college is right here. completing the FAFSA. The FAFSA, or the California Dream Act, are the two applications that all students and families need to complete in order to receive money for college. Whether that's grant money, which is money that you don't have to pay back, or loans, all of those have to be approved by you and your family completing the FAFSA or the California Dream Act. If your plan is to go to community college next year, you will need to complete one of these applications in order to qualify for what the state of California calls the Promise Program, and that would potentially give you free tuition to any California community college, and we'll talk about that in our community college application workshop. Okay? If you need letters of recommendation, please make sure you are starting early to give teachers and counselors plenty of time to write those letters for you. All right, this slide here is just a quick cheat sheet to help you kind of navigate and manage what you need depending on the application portal. So if we look here and you're applying to the Cal State system, if you just run down this column, it will let you know what you need and you do not need. So if you're only applying to, let's say, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Fullerton, and Cal State San Marcos, fantastic. All great, 3 amazing schools. But if that's all you're doing and you're not applying to any sort of private school and or any sort of scholarship, there is no need to ask people to write you letters of recommendation because you don't need them. And there is no essay portion, and they do not take the SATs. So again, this is just a quick reference guide for you of what you may need depending on which application portal you are applying to. So I'm just going to talk here quickly about the writing components because we will also hold a writing application workshop here during lunchtime here at Lakeside. But do know, just if you're wanting to get started ahead of time, that if you're applying to the UC system, you will need to answer 4 out of the 8 personal insight questions. These are questions and not essays, so they are very brief and very to the point. But your counselors will be available during, again, that writing workshop to help guide you and kind of work through which insight questions may be best for you to answer. If you're applying to those out-of-state or private schools and you are using the Common App, there is one essay. You choose from several different prompts. You respond to one, and that is your typical college application essay where it's a longer essay formatted response. Depending on colleges through Common App, some colleges may ask for additional supplemental questions for you to answer as part of your application process. All right, so steps for requesting a letter of recommendation. Again, if you are needing a letter of recommendation for whatever reason, please make sure that you are reaching out to teachers or counselors or whoever with plenty of time to write that letter for you, okay? Making sure that you're creating a brag sheet so that you can tell whoever you're asking to write your letter all the amazing things that you've done in high school so that when they are writing it, they can really highlight who you are and everything that separates you from all of those other applicants that are applying to college. So, I know that was a lot of information really, really fast. We are going to be holding future workshops at lunch in the Career Center to really do deep dives into each of these systems. So, if you are applying to or thinking of applying to the UC or Cal State system, please come see us September 29th at lunch, and we will show you how to complete both of those applications. If you are applying again to those private out-of-state schools, come see us October 10th in the Career Center at lunchtime for a Common App workshop. The college essay workshop will be on October 13th, and then our community college application workshop will be on November 18th. So guys, again, we want to thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have questions, your counselors are here to support you. So please message us in Teams and we will help navigate and troubleshoot any questions that may arise that has to do with your college application process. Thanks.